everyone, and welcome back to another week of madness on the Absolutely WSL and Championship show, which I realised it's not even called that anymore. It's just the women's football show. So that's going to tell you how this week is going to go. First of all, we are a person missing. Well, two people missing, actually. Ant, unfortunately, isn't well this week, as we do wish him to get well soon. And Paul should be coming. Again, we'll probably say Skinner 3 times, it'll turn up. Emma's clocked the hat already. There is a story to that. I will come back to it. Don't you worry. Now, so a massive shout out to Ant for last week as well, holding down the fort. Did an absolutely incredible job. And honestly, hopefully baby brain hasn't affected me. I have no idea what's going to happen this week, to be honest. So I'm relying on Chloe and Paul and everyone in the chat to keep us right. So yeah, please, please bear with us is all we ask, as we usually do on Team Chaos. Thank you to everyone in the chat who has started talking already. Mark, you're always here first. 5 to 8 this evening. Well done. I was here too, just obviously not live. Good evening to you. Good evening to Emma, Graham, Matthew, Chris back in the chat. And he says, congratulations. Thank you. Yes, my little girl is... Oh, that feels weird. My little girl is a week and a day old today. Yeah, and she's absolutely lovely. She might make an appearance later on, depending on what happens. You never know. So yeah, good evening to Sean. Tony is in the chat. Good evening to Sam as well. Good evening, good evening. The intro scared the crap out of me. It's Jingle Bells. What can scare you about that, Zach? But yes, good evening to everyone. Thank you for joining us on this run up to Christmas. Now, Emma did say about the hat, and actually, here he is. I'll bring Paul in for this. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Frazzled.
What
are you doing?
Fun fact: my nickname was Frazzy in school, so there you go. So frazzled, quite familiar with. There you go.
I have glittery eyeshadow and glittery blue nails today. That's my Christmasness.
It's Christmas. It's glitter. Now, Paul, I was just saying, Emma said, what a snazzy hat. Now, as I've been in a very different world for the last week, I completely forgot that this was our Christmas show. So I was going around going, right, what have I got to hand in the house? Luckily, we've got the stockings out. So I've got this one behind me. It is going to fall down because it's already fallen down twice, but it does have my name on it. Not that anyone can see, but it does have my name on.
Ooh,
and I thought, I don't have a Santa hat.
Yeah, so
there you go.
That'll work. Yeah. Christmas tag.
Christmas tag. Hey, well done. Well done. And me too. I'm frankincense. Nice to meet you.
Nice. I was actually trying to write 12 WSLs of Christmas, and
oh, incredible.
One for each team. So I'll do that while you're talking, and I will try and perform it at the end.
Oh, I love that. Everyone, stay tuned. Stay tuned for the performance of a lifetime.
I need to change mine.
Chloe's like, oh crap, what can I change mine to? This is so if anyone in the chat's got any suggestions what Chloe can change her name to, please do that. Now, what I thought we could do this evening, everyone, it's a roundup of the latest news from this week. And then we can get into WSL and Championship, if that sounds good to everyone. Now, we've currently got some Champions League games going on at the moment. It's currently 1-0 to Arsenal. They're at home to Bayern Munich. And Juventus are currently 1-0 up against Valerenga as well. Now, the Juventus game doesn't hold too much power because, unfortunately, they're not getting through. But between Arsenal and Bayern, it will affect who tops the group, essentially, and then that'll affect going into the next round. So let's start, shall we? So the first up, the Women's Euros groups were announced this week. Did we all see that draw? And the Lionesses have been entered into what looks like the group of death. Unfortunately, we've been drawn alongside the Netherlands, France, and Wales. Now, some people have commented that some groups, Group A, looking at you, that has Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, and Finland, are pretty easy. Not much between them. And there should be at least a top team in each group. Paul, I know you had some thoughts about this draw earlier. What did you make of it? Is it fair because it's random, or should there be a top team in each group at least?
I think it makes life much more interesting because it's because someone made the point that because the Men's World Cup has expanded to 300 teams or however the hell many it is, and 6 weeks of competition and whatever else, the chances of there actually being groups of death are very low. But because there are only 16 teams in the Women's Euros and 4 groups of 4, statistically, there's a good chance you're going to get 2 of the big hitters at least in one group, or you get 3 in the case of England, who, by the way, are screwed and are probably going to be the first team to not get out of the group. I'm saying that now. I don't think the Lionesses are getting out of the group.
Well, so it's going to be hard for them. It's certainly not going to be easy. And again, people have said, including me, I've thought that, the way we're playing at the minute, it's hard to see actually getting out of the group. Friend of the pod, Tom Gary, I was reading his article earlier, and in the group of death, he still does predict England and the Netherlands are going to do it out of all of them. Chloe, what do you think? I've just seen Chloe. Okay, well done.
That was probably the best I could get on sort of quick little thing. Anyway, yeah. I mean, bring it on. I'm here for just the man matches that could happen, especially England versus Wales. That's going to be something else.
Yeah, it's going to be great, isn't it? Because Jess Fishlock kind of came out and said, you know what, we're the underdogs. Bring it on. Like, we relish that. And the fact that, everyone's going to underestimate us, kind of more fool them, really. Just to update us, Chris, you're absolutely brilliant. Thank you. Bayern have just equalised 1-1 at... I was going to say Kingsmeadow. Whoops, no.
Was it Georgia Samway? Because if so, we should make sure to properly appreciate her because she was bitching in an interview this week.
Well, she said there's a lack of appreciation, didn't she? Yeah, Paul.
Yes.
How...
It's Magda, I think. Yeah, Magda.
Oh, I think I've just seen this pop up. Yes. Oh, Magda getting it. Well done. See, that's why I was thinking Kingsmeadow, because Magda. There we go. I'm going to say that. Paul, I was going to ask you, when players kind of come out and they're so honest about their opinions on how she feels, I don't know, do you think she was right to do that, or do you think some comments are best left away from the media?
I think fair play to her. I just think she's full of crap because in this particular case, if there is a player who is appreciated for what she does and has all of the hype among the Lionesses and all of that stuff, it is Georgia Stanway. Like, I think there's a bit of a trend now for players to go, people don't appreciate me. It's like, bollocks. Sorry. Like, there are underappreciated players and there are players who still don't get all the love they deserve. No. Justice for Kira Walsh. Sorry, Georgia, you are one of the faces of the Lionesses. You are hyped the heck out of. Whenever Bayern play an English team, everything is written about you. And
with that link there, absolutely.
And you're a good midfielder, but you're not one of the best in the world. You're not top 10 in the world. You were missed out for the Ballon d'Or because you're not good enough in that particular area. There are players far less hyped than you who deserve far more hype. You are not one of them. Stop complaining. It always kind of, as you can tell, grinds my gears a bit when you get players complaining about being underappreciated. Because most of them aren't. Most of the players who are most likely to complain about getting underappreciated aren't.
Yes, the ones that would actually come out and say it, because a lot of the ones who are very underappreciated, like your Kira Walsh of the world, aren't the type to come out and make a big song and dance about it.
You could see Steph Horton coming out and saying, "Oh, I was underappreciated." You can't see, much as you can't really see Leah Williamson ever coming out and saying, "I feel underappreciated."
No.
Even if she wasn't. Which, let's face it, you can to put like you couldn't say Ellen White, for example, coming out.
Yeah.
Because all of the attention in the Euros, including from me, and boy do I regret that. I look back on some of my opinions on the Lionesses during the Euros, and the yelling to start Russo all the time with regret, but I was young and stupid, so
we all learn. We all make mistakes. It's okay.
We all learn. Some of them still get to start for England despite them, but that's. But you can't see someone like Ellen White coming out and saying, "Actually, people don't appreciate what I did for England in that tournament."
Yeah, she'll more reminisce about kind of what happened, the good times, and how she felt. Making the most of those memories and still staying humble. Yeah, absolutely.
You can't really see someone like Alexia Putellas coming out and saying, "I feel underappreciated by Spain." Now everyone's talking about Aitana.
That's a hard one, isn't it? Because Alexia is worshipped.
Okay.
Patrick Guijarro, then. She feels it. That she's not going to come out and say it, is she?
Okay, Patrick Guijarro then. If you talk as a fair comparison, Patrick Guijarro, because that Barcelona midfield, Aitana is the player who gets all the attention, but Patri is the player who makes it tick.
Yeah, which I'm glad she was in that FIFA 11, which we'll talk about in a moment as well. Yeah, I just want to confirm there. So Kira Walsh is hyped with people who know football and know her worth and know what she can do, but for a lot of awards and things, like, she's still very much missed out, isn't she? So that was all my point was there.
Speaking of people of help, Zach says, an American, I can say there are many English players that are overhyped. Fair enough. You have Lindsay Horan. That's all I'm saying about that one. And arguably, in the latter part of her career, he said, casually chucking a grenade into the conversation, Megan Rapinoe.
Ooh.
Because she almost became more than she was because of the amazing work that she'd done off the pitch and her activism and the strides that she'd made and all that sort of thing. That when she was dropped, everybody, Alex Morgan as well, when they were dropped, everybody lost their minds. And it's like, Alex Morgan in that World Cup looked done. She's...
Yeah. And sometimes it's that status, isn't it, over performance, that kind of people. Because again, with Lucy Bronze, bringing it back there, a lot of people who, I don't know, again, rose-tinted glasses, because we know what she's done for us, we know what she's still capable of. As soon as she gets outpaced by someone, suddenly all the comments are like slamming into her, aren't they? And it's like, there's a difference between being realistic about a player's current performance and then looking at it through, like I just said, rose-tinted glasses about their performance past and being able to judge it as they are now. So yeah, I think it's very much kind of taking a step back and making it fair rather than overhyping people who don't deserve it in the current climate. Yeah. I mean, we could be here all day.
I think though, Georgia Stanway is a lioness's tax. I think she's a very, very good midfielder. If she played in the WSL now, would she be the best midfielder at Man City? No, she'd be third or fourth, if that. She
can penalty taker.
Yeah, great. I can take penalties. Doesn't mean I can do anything else. I can run up and hit a ball very, very hard. It's like.
Well, if they're the only criteria, we can all do that, can't we?
That's it.
Yeah. So the point we were initially trying to make was the Lionesses have been drawn against some very, very top sides, and we shall see who comes out on top. I know a lot of people have managed to get tickets for the semi-finals and finals as well, so they're absolutely buzzing. I would love to be going. We should have done like a podcast trip, shouldn't we? Reporting live from Zurich. That would be
maybe we can, like Girls on the Ball, maybe we can get sponsored to just randomly go to Caribbean islands. Like,
I'd love that. Yeah.
Just,
can I bring my stocking hat though? That's my only criteria.
Just bring the
I tried to make it get to stand up, but it just wasn't having any of it. So.
Euro 25 mascot plushes for everybody.
Yes, they're really cute though, aren't they? The
that was a proper mascot unveiling, by the way. If you're talking about that, was beautifully done.
Yep. No, it was.
Not as good as the 2018 Winter Olympics that actually had a whole mini movie thing that I posted on Twitter that was amazing. But
yeah, that was good.
It was close enough. But yeah.
But the only American who got better with age was Carly Lloyd.
Shame she's a horrible human being.
I just don't think I've been blocked yet, which is surprising.
I mean, she's
blocked
like,
everyone else, Chloe. How did it?
you know how there are a bunch of ex-players in the men's game who've just gone well and truly off the deep end. Like a certain person, BJB, who we won't mention because he's a horrible human, but more on the just kind of weird comedy side of things. Matt Letizier, who's just convinced conspiracy theories everywhere. Carly Lloyd is definitely going to end up in like a cave in Wyoming, convinced that the government is trying to turn everybody
like a nuclear bunker, like sealed off from the world. If it came out that she was secretly like into conversion therapy or something, it wouldn't surprise me because she just strikes me as one of those proper weird Republicans. Yeah, just jump complete. Yeah.
The thing is, you think she's bad. Look at the way things are going for Hope Solo. Oof.
Yeah, she's a weird one though because she actually had obviously that criminal case and all sorts of stuff happening. So, she had all that.
Yep.
We need like a documentary on like the fall of women's footballers, and just to watch kind of a case by case basis of just what happened. Because
I mean, it'd be fairly short because it'd just be Hope Solo and Carly Lloyd, wouldn't it? I'm trying to think of others who've kind of gone off the deep end. I mean, Corbin Albert is destroying her career in real time, which is fascinating. But
Ashton Harris as well. She's on.
Yep.
Very careful.
Oh, but she's condemned for cheating on people. But Beth Mead, Beth Mead is amazing apparently, and if you allegedly, if you believe all of the tea about relationships, and
now Arsenal could be a drama in itself. Just the whole team. Just everything that's going on.
It does just fascinate me that Ashton Harris, from what I can gather, is pretty much universally now hated, at least partly because of relationship issues. Which is...
Well, both of them, really. Both her and her girlfriend.
Who is Ashton Harris? Wait, what, Ashton Harris's current girlfriend?
Yeah.
Who is Ashton Harris's current girlfriend?
Sophia Bush.
Sophia Bush, actress. Because they got her to say she Grey's Anatomy, and they got her to say, "I never cheat with people's husbands" or something like that. So the writers got her to say, is that what that Grey's
Anatomy thing was that made all the lesbians go mad? And I know that wasn't homophobic. That was literally because
that's true.
It was all the people who follow this drama, all the drama llamas in women's football who absolutely lost their minds at that, and it just went whoosh.
They knew what they were writing.
They know their audience. Now,
oh god, no.
Corbin Albert might come to the WSL. Yeah, I've heard those rumors. I mean, if she does, I think there's a lot of stuff that the fans. I don't think the fans will accept it, to be honest.
No, they will. She'll go to Arsenal and they'll love her. You know, if she got blonde hair and blue eyes, she'll fit in perfectly at Arsenal.
Hey, Arsenal are changing. Arsenal are changing.
It's me having blonde hair and blue eyes.
Now, we're going to move on to the next bit before we start like a Real Housewives of the WSL.
We'll be back on The View after these messages. Like.
Sponsored by Hey You.
It's like one of those 30 seconds when Channel 5 did one of those 60-second entertainment updates every hour that nobody watched and were just
yes. We need to. Yeah, so yeah, for over Christmas and stuff, when we kind of record things and little adverts and teasers and stuff, it's just going to be loads of them. Here's WSL in 60 seconds. And then go forward.
If Corbin Albert goes to Chelsea, that's not going to go down well.
Nope.
That's not going to go. Chelsea.
That's the rumour I heard to Chelsea.
Chelsea, the people who famously tolerate any sort of, slightly dodgy personal views. At least their women's team. The men's team, we won't talk about their men's fans, but
No, we won't talk about those. If she it's going to be a harsh awakening if she does. Let's put that there. Right, so that was the Euros draw. 20 minutes, guys. Buckle in. So the other announcement this week was the UEFA Women's Europa Cup launching in the 25-26 season. And this will take place. I don't know if anyone's seen this, and if we think it's a good idea, let us know in the chat if you do. So essentially, how it's going to work is it's going to take place over 6 rounds, 2 qualifying rounds, round of 16, quarters, semis, etc., and a 2-legged final, right? 13 teams who are the 3rd place teams in the domestic leagues from associations ranked 8 to 13, and the runners-up of associations ranked 18 to 24 will be entered directly into the Europa Cup. Okay, so it's more for associations who don't usually get a look in, essentially. Additionally, clubs eliminated in the Women's Champions League 3rd qualifying round, along with the runners-up and 3rd place teams from the 2nd qualifying round, will enter the tournament via a feeding system. Winners of the Europa Cup will automatically qualify for the 3rd qualifying round of the Champions Path of the following season's Champions League. So not only is the Champions League getting a new format, we've also got the Cup coming into it as well. Now, it all does sound a bit confusing, but Chloe, what do you think? Is it a good opportunity for more teams to get that exposure and that experience?
Yeah, I think that'd be quite good. Some of the teams I've seen that have been in the qualifying round for Champions League, it would give them be something extra they can go for and sort of European glory. I mean, obviously on the men's side, we've got not just the Europa League, but also the Conference League. I don't think we'll probably just there just yet on the women's side, but why not?
It's because there is a spreadsheet if anyone's interested, but you've got to have, annoyingly, on an Excel document where you can kind of like highlight the cells and you can go across and things like that. I'm just going to share my screen slightly because I think it's worth just kind of showing that we want this one. Okay, so if anyone is interested, the spreadsheet looks a bit like this. Can we see that?
Oh, blimey.
So when we talk about confederations, 8 to, what did we say? 13. So 8 Czechia, all the way down to kind of Ukraine, Belarus-ish. Okay. So because the top ranked, including England, have all got a chance to go through the league phase anyway, this won't technically affect us because the runners-up then go through the league path, etc., etc. So this second club competition, so that's the cup. This reflects kind of who's going where and in what stage. Now, it does look really confusing, so I do apologize. However, the associations go right down to 51, which is Azerbaijan, or 52, which is Association 52. And UEFA will decide that one. So all of, up until, where is it? Slovenia, all of the champions will get a chance at this domestic competition. So ultimately, it's given more teams a chance to actually play against each other and things like that. And I did say it was going to fall down, and it has. So apologies. We'll just put the little penguin there. He can watch over us for the rest of us. So if anyone does, if you want to go check that out, that is on the UEFA website under kind of the list of rules and regulations that are there. So lovely. Emma does have a question. Is it filling the calendar more for these top teams? Well, that's the question. So it's going to be played alongside the Champions League. So it should be in the windows where there are Champions League games. They should be on at the same time. Paul, what do you think? Is this just making things more complicated, or is it a good thing that they do have more access? I
can't wait for it. I can't wait for Man United beating the, Elektrinai Lithuania Riga like 1-0 in the last minute with the ball going off Grace Clinton's arse, and Man United Twitter going Stargirl for the next 3 days straight. Like, it makes sense if it's actually allowing those smaller nations to develop.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like having the Nations League, but not a blatant money grab. Like, it's actually because the likes of Poland, the likes of the Czech Republic, the likes of the Netherlands, the 9th association down there. So you'll have the likes of the second team in the Netherlands, which is probably going to be Feyenoord or FC Twente, something, or Ajax. So
Ajax, yeah, teams like that. Yeah, it's not as if they're like small teams. Yeah,
it's not like it's going to be Arsenski Lithuania versus small team Luxembourg. It's actually going to be teams with brand names that people recognise, and Manchester United. So it's like teams like that.
Yeah. And Zach just put there, great for the small countries, but it's going to be too much for the top teams and players are getting hurt. It would be nice if this Europa Cup was actually like the next chunks, like middle table WSL, because your Leicesters, your Villas, your Spurs, even kind of all of these teams who would benefit from such exposure. They're still not.
Brighton fans travelling to Azerbaijan on a Thursday night. Like, just Almaty in December.
That's when you cross the road.
Like Chelsea actually did that in the men's team, and some of the stories. I was reading an Athletic article, and some of the stories of the trip. I'm just imagining Rosie having to get a flight to a neighbouring country and then get a taxi over the border. That's what some of them did. To go to Almaty, which is in Azerbaijan, they had to fly to Kyrgyzstan, which was 3 flights.
Yeah.
And then get a taxi over the border.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
A 5-hour taxi ride because all the bus stations were shut, which in that part of the world probably cost the equivalent of about 35p.
That's true. But yeah, it's commitment to the love of the game. That's what that is. So yeah, we'll keep you updated with anything else we find out if they do make it a bit easier, and when we've got our heads around it as well. We also had the FIFA awards this week. Now we had a couple of conversations, and Paul, I know you had a few thoughts as well, but Chloe, these awards, great that the players can kind of vote for each other and it's like peer nominated, but the actual best 11 team was from the fans as well. So Chloe, is there any meaning behind these awards, do you think, or is it just a nice little thanks very much?
I think the one voted for by peers, you can see some bit of sort of favouritism in there. Sorry, I mean, you had, I think, what was I saying? I think Sam Kerr voted for the coach of the year was Emma Hayes. Sonia Burnham.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember the first one. I was like, okay.
Yeah, because it's interesting because they release who people voted for, don't they? And it's like,
I think there's some bias in there, but also we found there can be some bias in there, really. But yeah, it was nice, but yeah, there will be whoever's voting is going to be some sort of, I'd like to see my favourite in there, or yeah, maybe not totally on the football, really.
Paul, would you make of these FIFA Best Awards?
I'm not a fan of these awards anyway, because they're like a circle jerk. Anyway, they're like a football circle jerk in their own way anyway. and like you say, it's friends fighting for friends.
Mm.
The FIFA best 11 was an absolute atrocity. Like
6 of the 11 being Barcelona players, just to add that in. Yeah.
Oh, and which team has the highest fan? Which women's team has the biggest fan base on the planet? Oh, weird that. the most, it's like if you had a goal of the month competition in the WSL that was voted by the fans, it'd be won by Arsenal every or Chelsea. They just switch it back and forth depending on who could be asked to vote that week.
Yeah.
Like,
no. No, you're absolutely right. It's
the players don't care. They don't, what they know. At a certain level, you know how good you are and how you compare to everybody else and whether you deserve to be in that team.
Yeah.
And most of the Barcelona players are getting picked off a Farmers League. Like, sorry, the Spanish League is a Farmers League still. It's like you've got, and this is a debate that you have. And yes, they still do well in Europe, but there's the constant argument that the only games Barcelona are legitimately tested in are the latter stages of the Champions League every season.
Yeah, and it's the Spanish FA. They've got to do something, about it to stop, to make it more competitive, because it's got to be boring for Barcelona to win again. But yeah, they love the competition. You can tell when they get to these stages. But speaking of Barcelona, so Aitana Bonmatí, of course, won Best Women's Player again, with a very close second and third. I don't know if anyone saw the scores. Barbara Banda came in second, friend of the pod, and Caroline Graham Hansen got third as well. Graham Hansen, another one underrated and not as hyped by the majority. Those who watch and know she's a talented player will obviously always support her. And Emma Hayes won Best Women's Coach as well. And of course, Marta won the Marta Award in its inaugural year, of course. Imagine if it went to someone else. And the Marta Award goes to whoops.
Marta Cordero.
Different Marta. But yeah, so Marta won the award named after her. And as we said, 6 of the best 11 were Barcelona players. The others who made up the team are, I've got it up. So I had Paralluelo and Graham Hansen as our 2 forwards. We had Bonmatí, Paul's best mate, Lindsay Horan, Patrick Guijarro and Gabi Portillo. Then in defence, we had Ona Badge, Irina Paredes, Naomi Girma, Lucy Bronze. And in goal, we had Nair as well from the USA. So
like Irina Paredes is not even the best defender on Barcelona. How the hell is she in that team?
Again, she's good, but I wouldn't say she was like world leader.
Wendy Renard is twice the defender Irina Paredes is, literally.
Yeah. Should have been him. Yeah. In fact, let's riot. Let's go. Let's demand a recount. Now, of course, all the controversy. The biggest news of the week, of course, that Graham's brought to us. It's the Subway Cup. we've now got a sponsor, everyone. Aren't we happy? So RIP Conti Cup. Subway Cup's much easier to say in my accent, but not as fun. Not as fun to say. But
Because
yeah,
if you call it the sub cup,
which just leaves you open to so many jokes, doesn't it? Just
You-
all of the subs.
you know, I'm not walking in to that one. You know,
Thing is, will the trophy be a 6-inch or a foot long?
Exactly. Well done. Well done.
depends who wins it, I suppose. You can choose.
Oh, that's a blast from the past, Emma. The Blue Moon Cup. Do you remember when we went on that random tangent years ago when we went to a very, very dark and weird place about the cup? But yes, so nothing is dark, unfortunately. However, so we do have a sponsor now. It's not just the Women's League Cup. The quarterfinals have been announced, and the tastiest selection there is Chelsea versus Durham at Kingsmeadow. Now, imagine if Durham win. Imagine. It won't happen.
That would be a spicy meatball, wouldn't it? You get 2 references for the price of 1. That one. You get a movie and a sandwich.
Oh, I can't even. Now, interesting. People upset with Chelsea's path to the final and writing off Durham. I mean, it is very easy to write off Durham, especially with their result of the weekend, which we will talk about. But this season, they're better than anyone ever anticipated. So surely, if they've got a chance of doing something, of picking up anything, then this would be the season for them.
I've just had a wonderful wrestling vision. Like, not an actual wrestling vision, but for those who like WWE, I've just got a vision of Myra Ramirez charging through the middle, doing her thing, and running into Becky Salicki and just bouncing off. It'll be like the bit where Brock Lesnar tries to beat up Goldberg and fails, and just stands there in complete shock from like, just here's someone you can't bully, and then Salicki just goes straight through her 2-footed.
Some nice northeastern hospitality.
As 1,000 Chelsea voices screaming pain and are suddenly silenced. Like, just.
I think they should have had Durham at home, because Chelsea at Maiden Castle would have been.
Chelsea at Maiden Castle with 1,800 angry northeasterners on like a January night.
We went up there in 2019, so that was quite something.
That is hostility. That's, all right, Sonia, you've done fine so far. You've had the Emirates, you've had, the Champions League. Now have Maiden Castle on a wet January night.
Take that. See if
with
you can get
1,800 people shouting at you in words you can barely understand as a French person.
What is this?
Where is the pitch? Is it football? What is happening? I don't know if I said this last time. Generally, my life's all merged into one now. I was watching the Italy game at the weekend. Oh, I think I said it in the chat. I was watching the Lazio game, and mum and dad were visiting. And I had it on, and my dad went, "Are these the kids?" And I went, "What?" And he went, "Why, that pitch is a training pitch, isn't it?" I went, "No, Dad."
This is women's football for you.
This is women's football in Italy. Enjoy.
Could you criminal? There is someone who hasn't had the pleasure of watching Durham play.
Oh, you need to. Yeah, just, yeah.
They
Slinky and Beth Heppel, just, yeah.
They are, if women's football had the look at the size of this girl absolute unit means, it'd just be the Durham defence. They are a bunch of Northeast lasses. Well, one of them is Northern Irish, so, same thing in terms of scary and barely intelligible. I'm getting a look here from Kerry, but,
You have Kyla Novak. Come on.
Molly Lambert as well.
Molly Lambert.
Yeah.
Dee Bradley. There we go.
Yes. See, all of these names will mean probably nothing if you just watch WSL, but honestly.
Also, as well, with Sarah Wilson or Sarah McFadden. No, it's Robson or McFadden. And we're never sure which, because she's Sarah McFadden when she plays for Northern Ireland, but she's Sarah Robson when she plays for Durham. She, as well, has a Belfast accent. And seriously, I'm not going to try and do it because Kerry has already started telling me don't to do it. But Northern Irish is the only accent on the planet. I've nicked this joke, by the way, from a Northern Irish thing called The Blame Game, which is amazing, where they do 5 minutes of it. Northern Irish is the only accent on the planet that is scarier the quieter it is. Like, if a Northern Irish person is shouting at you, it's just like kind of drunk Scott. But if they go quiet and just like, I wouldn't do that if I were you, you're just like, oh.
It wasn't mine.
So,
Fucking hell.
yeah, Durham.
Most people live with someone for 14 years and they pick up some of the accent. You don't.
There you go.
Fucking amazing.
Oh, Terry, we need you on the pod one week. We're really.
Christ.
I'm getting absolutely roasted here, and now the cat's yelling at me. But yes, Durham are called Dirty Durham for a reason.
Dirty Durham. Yeah,
well.
no, 100%. I think it's going to be a fight, and I am totally here for it. Right then.
Nancy.
So it's Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
This is my time. Give me my spotlight.
This is my podcast. You were all
Ready for her close up. There we go.
Hey. Put me down, human. I did not come here for this.
I agree, Nancy.
Oh, brilliant. Right. So that's that then. Other quick news. Man City, I should have a shout out to their media team because they are really leaning in to showcasing their players' personalities and really going for it. I don't know if anyone saw Kirsten Kasparai's contract extension video. It was just so her. And you just think, and like with Lauren Hemp's like surrounded by Lego, and you just think, that's how to do it. Don't be generic. Like really lean into your players and why. Can
we talk about the absolute head loss from Arsenal fans over something Kirsten Kasparai did? By the way, like they have to make themselves relevant at everything. They're like that annoying kid in the corner at Christmas who has to run around yelling at everybody. So basically, for those who didn't see it, after Arsenal lost to Everton, Kirsten Kasparai did one of her usual captions.
I love it.
And it was something like "not our best game ever" with the turn crossed out.
Yeah.
And Man City fans kind of went, fair enough, that's Kirsten doing Kirsten things. She's enjoying herself. Arsenal fans lost their heads. They're all on there like, oh, if one of our players did this, my head would be on Mars and all that sort of stuff. How do you tolerate this, Man City fans? It's like, because they know what grass feels like.
Because it's funny.
Because they've been outside in the past 6 months.
Yeah.
Like,
Sam knows I suck on that one.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful timing.
Magda scoring from a header. Wait. There we go. Yes, fantastic. I think Rosie's happy about it. Hi, Rosie, by the way. Thanks for joining us. Rosie is meant to be at the match, so she must hate Arsenal that much that she's like, no. I'm watching. Yeah. She also complimented my hat, which I think is the nicest thing she's ever said to me. So,
to be fair, half the Arsenal fans at the Emirates haven't actually realised that Magda scored yet, because they're only there. They're only there staring at the lionesses and trying to get shirts off them and wave scarves. So they don't actually know who Magda Eriksson is.
To be fair, looking at who scored, Arsenal have not actually scored. It was an own goal.
Yeah, it was. It deflected off the keeper, didn't it? Yeah, it kind of went in her hands, and it just kind of. Oh
no!
Where did it go?
It's too near to Christmas. I can't do
it. Rose is like, I've left early as the Arsenal fans were making me sick.
Oh, for goodness sake!
It's supporting Arsenal catching. It's being like annoyingly superior catching, and is that what it is?
Yeah, they are. Rosie, I always acknowledge you. I just like compliments. So you'll get your comment on the board if you compliment us. That's how this works. Chris, I would love to be happy for you. Well, I'll just leave your moment there.
See, Arsenal fans must be panicking. She scored over half of her goals for the season, and it's not even December. What with there being 10, 11 goals a season? She scored like 6 or 7 now.
Hey, your estimate is doing things. It's great.
I clearly spoke too soon. Oh, so I'm not scored a goal. Oh wait.
Not necessarily. Georgia Stanway still has time to make herself appreciated.
She got time for a penalty or two. It's fine.
if you want appreciation from everyone who isn't an Arsenal fan, Georgia, then away you go. 30-yard rocket.
There you go. Okay. So Kim Little and Stine Blackstenius have come off, and Fridolin Hudson-Mornam and Beth Mead have come on. Just to
Beth
keep
Mead being on the bench all the time. That's going to lose Rennie Slager's the job. That is putting Beth Mead on the bench. The rage. Is that even allowed? If she's not injured.
Well, hey, Renee's doing a good job, so I think everyone's just kind of giving her a bit of a buy at the moment, aren't they? However, so we will keep you updated, and thank you so much for everyone for keeping us updated. Just to round off the Champions League, then qualified: Lyon, Wolfsburg, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Arsenal. Man City and Barcelona. So these games, as we said earlier, were just showing who will top the group for that one. So scored.
It's because there's chicken in this bowl. That's what's going on here.
There you go. Never leave the chicken out. I feel like I've got like 5 different conversations going on here, which is
You think your view's good? I've currently can see into eternity looking at the back end of there we go. There we go. Now she's moved.
All of it. Right.
You don't want anything coming out of that tunnel, I'll tell you.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Right. Shall we actually talk about some football then?
Well, yeah. Yes, because Gucci Criminal says, remember the discourse where you said Miedemar was a Ferrari and Russo is a Fiat? Do I take it back? No. Because sometimes a Fiat works. But a Fiat breaks down far more often.
But the Ferrari does break.
And a Fiat is still boring. And you'd still rather have a Ferrari over a Fiat.
You would, until you got to go over speed bumps. Some Ferraris just can't get over a speed bump.
Or the
that could be a metaphor for life, so make of that what you will. Another life lesson from Graham: never leave the chicken out. That is my deep philosophical moment for the evening. I forgot. I haven't told anyone. I didn't have a Christmas football top. I've got a Christmas TARDIS. If that's
love it.
Just to show everyone.
Oh, that works.
Yeah.
See, we could go back.
Just like, no, I need to come in for the football chat. Right. Let's have a look. Ta-da! Right, WSL fixtures then. I really wanted every match to finish 1-1 just to be aesthetically pleasing, but thankfully they didn't, because we did have, in the words of Danny, an almost ding-dong. So there we go. So where we're going to start is, Paul, I think we're going to start with you. We're actually going to start with probably the most controversial of the weekend. Everton 2, Man City 1. Everton did it. They took points. They beat City. Paul, talk us through this one.
That's the first time they ever have.
Yeah.
As well. First time Everton have ever beaten Manchester City.
Wow. Honestly, Brian.
But he's doing a bad job, everybody, and he should be fired because he's not up to the standard of a WSL manager, apparently, as all the experts were telling us when Everton were not winning, because Everton are not a WSL team, apparently. And just if you needed a demonstration of how to make the best of what you have as a football manager, Brian Sorensen is an absolute magician at doing so, because the way he set Everton up, Man City never got into the game. They never looked settled. They never looked comfortable in any way, shape, or form.
No. They
we've talked about them before as a sewing machine when they're running. They just weren't at all. They couldn't put anything together. They couldn't get any rhythm going. They had all the possession, but didn't know what to do with it. I mean, checking the stats, I had a picture like during the game, and it was something like Everton led 2-0, and Man City had 80% of the possession.
Wow. It shows though possession means nothing if you can't do anything with it, if you can't make something happen. Zach has put there, but see, you've got so many players out. Is that an excuse?
I don't have Chelsea.
I mean, you say that, but if you run through the Man City lineup, okay, this is supposedly a weakened Man City lineup that started against Everton. Chiara Keating in goal, England international. Kirsten Kasparai, Dutch international. Alana Kennedy, Australian international. Leah Alexandri and Layla Wuhabi, World Cup winners. Jill Ward, one of the best midfielders in Europe. Yui Hasegawa, probably the best midfielder in the WSL. Jess Park, England international. Mary Fowler, Australian international. Next Sam Kerr. Alba Fugino and Laura Binfield-Brown. That is a weakened lineup that any other team in the WSL would kill for.
Yeah, we would.
So there, no excuse, like you say, no excuses for Man City whatsoever. It's anyone making excuses for them is desperately clutching at straws, because they had 80% of the possession, and like if you look at the stats, it was 80-20. 694 passes to 170.
Wow.
That's
mad.
It's insane. 16-8 in terms of shots. They had more shots in target. They had 3 times the number of corners. This was a masterclass of a smash and grab raid from Everton at home. And I know smash and grabs are usually supposed to happen away in football parlance, but they only actually scored through a penalty in the 89th minute as well. So,
yeah,
Brian Sorensen said, I put all of that on him, because those players absolutely went through walls for him.
Yeah,
they would. He motivates his team to the point where they would run through a wall, rebuild it just so they could run through it again for him. That's the kind of level of love, and you can see it, in the way they play. And at the risk of hitting a cliche, that is the kind of thing that you cannot build into a team. It's either there or it isn't.
Yeah. And it shows that trust, doesn't it, in that foundation of where, like, how they're building up, how they play together. And I suppose when you do have a small team limited by financial constraints and whatever else going on, you can really tell the teams that are fighting for each other rather than fighting for a title or a point or things like that. Like, they're really doing it for each other.
And we need to pay credit as well, rather than just singing Brian Sorensen's praises. Talk about the players on the pitch. What a shift Tony Payne put in up front as a solo striker.
Yeah.
Maybe if she was more ruthless, then it could have been more goals. But she'd still be running now, if allowed. She probably went to sleep that night, still closing down Man City defenders in a sleep. It was an incredible performance. And Hanoka Hiyashi as well. She covered every blade of glass and most of them twice.
what a signing she's been. And just for comparison, Everton had only scored 4 goals before that game. So they've only scored 6 all season. So to get 2 against City, of all people, is...
And their goals were quality. I mean, the first one in particular absolutely sliced through Man City. If Chelsea had scored that, or Arsenal had scored that, then commentators would absolutely be purring over it.
Yeah,
because it was a lovely passing move, lovely kind of long swung high ball into the box. Lucy Ho rising above everybody else, perfect looping header. And if Everton get, the sad thing is, and we keep saying this, if Everton get investment, they're a sleeping giant under Brian Sorensen, effectively.
Yeah.
If he had the resources at Everton that Jonas Eidevall had, or Mark Skinner had, there you go, Mark Skinner mentioned 56 minutes in.
Hey, do well done.
Then there is no limit to what Everton could do, because that man is a motivator, and that man has somehow managed to create a culture and a bond at Everton that the big teams would absolutely kill for. And we saw it, and that's it finally getting rewarded, and it's a wonderful thing to see.
That's the payoff. Yeah, absolutely. Not to interrupt, but would anyone like to see a baby?
Yes, please.
Yes, we'll meet the newest member of Team Chaos.
Oh,
So, say hello.
hello.
I love how we're waving at her. She's
She's just been fed, so she's incredibly sleepy. But she's got a snowman onesie on, so she's dressed for the Christmas special. Hello.
she is what, a week old now? 9 days.
Yes, last Tuesday she was born. Yeah.
Oh,
Hi. She's so cute.
And now the chat is absolutely dissolved.
And the puppy's here too. Hey, Stormy. Hello. Hey, you gonna come say hello too? Up. Okay. Can you see him?
Nancy's going to be behind you. Nancy's going to be getting jealous. Like,
you know what? He's been fantastic with her. Hello. She makes little dinosaur noises, and it's really cute. Yeah, he's been incredible, and he just sits and watches. And if she cries, he's there and trying to get our attention like she's crying. Humans, come on. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, Brian Sorensen did a great job.
because there's starting for the Lionesses in 2045.
Yes, everyone watch out. Going to be in football classes before you know it, aren't you? Yeah. Okay, I'll give it back now.
But yes, and Everton's seeding.
Because we're going to get so distracted.
Everton's seeding under Brian Sorensen depends on how much investment they get. But like their seeding at the moment is mid-table. They can pull themselves away from relegation, but they're supposed to be signing Kelly Gargo in January. That came out.
Sorry, the office is breaking. Yes, I heard that. Yeah.
So that could be interesting. French international striker.
I mean, hopefully Everton sorting themselves out with financial problems, things like that, because to be able to sign someone in January, I know Brian initially was a bit worried, and I know Matt Beard is saying as well, there's not really any money going about. So yeah, the fact that they're going to be signing someone and an attacking threat as well, maybe good things are on the horizon for Everton. So he is to that. Fingers crossed with it.
Did you ever get the other club's voice note, by the way? Because she said she was going to send a voice note to play out.
No, she never sent one. No, but we can say other Chloe, who does love us very much. Unfortunately, she's just working on Wednesdays. Very busy over Christmas, as people can tell. She was over the moon, wasn't she? Her heart was singing that Everton managed to win against City for the first ever time. Last question on that then. Chloe Kelly, when she's getting, 18-year-old? Is Lily Murphy 18, 19?
Yes.
If she's coming on before Chloe Kelly, do we think Kelly's going to be off in January?
If someone can find the money for her.
Well,
because realistically, the only teams who have the money for her are, again, teams she'd be a squad player in. I mean, she could go and rot at Man United, sitting on the bench.
No, we'll never wish that on anyone. She's currently contracted until the summer.
Ooh.
So she'd be going on a free anyway in the summer. So I can't see. Yeah, it's going to be where she goes. Do we reckon? So assuming she probably will, because she doesn't look happy, does she? We want the best for our players. Do we think a European trip, maybe, or America?
I don't think there's a European team that really wants her.
She is from London, so
why would she join Chelsea though? That isn't a disrespect to Chelsea. That is, she'd be third choice at Chelsea.
Yeah.
So she'd be moving from one squad bench situation to another.
Yeah, we need a team that actually need her and actually will play her and have that space. So yeah, if anyone's got anything in the chat, if you think where you think Chloe Kelly might go, then yeah, please do. So yeah, PSG is a rumour. There's a lot of issues at PSG at the minute. They're hemorrhaging a lot of players. So I'd probably say no until they sort their stuff out. Yeah, who knows? Palace, yes. Get to Palace.
Palace on loan would be amazing.
That would be incredible. Yeah.
Right, I'm going to disappear very, very briefly just so I can eat dinner.
That's
nobody wants to see me eat dinner. I'll still be here. I'm just the camera's gonna go off.
You're not completely leaving us. That's okay.
I'm not completely leaving you.
And that's absolutely fine, because I was going to come to Chloe next anyway, so that's all good. Chloe, we're going to come to you then for Brighton 1, Spurs 1. Brighton, I don't know. I would have thought they should have probably got a bit more from this one. But yeah, talk us through it, Chloe. What did you think of this 1-1?
Yeah, I'll be honest. They looked a bit shaky, and that's maybe because Franco is injured, and she seems to be sort of glue that keeps them together, and also sort of pushes them on a bit more. I mean, it's sort of like, God, however many years ago when she was the star for Chelsea, and the team was okay, but maybe not the best. But when I think it's 2017, when she got injured, and seemed to fall apart. So I think it's a bit like that. But yeah, I mean, it was Spurs that had sort of the early chance with Jess Naz sort of making a run, putting across the Beffingen, but obviously nothing sort of really came of that, because it was Carabelli that made a sort of last-ditch tackle, which good to see. But yeah, I think it seemed to be mostly Spurs, although they did get caught out sort of playing from the back, which, the amount of times I've seen teams play out from the back and get caught out, I'm just
yeah, even the best teams, when they do it, and it's like, no one needs this. No,
don't do it. Yeah, I think it was just, both teams sort of exchanged chances in the first half, but it was one of those sort of meh sort of first halves, really. Yeah, I think both goalkeepers did quite well that day. Ellen Heaps and Sif Bagley, they were sort of being able to keep things at bay, really. And yeah, first half was a bit meh, and then second half they Brighton brought Michelle Adjemiang on. took Pauline Bremer off, which is interesting. But
Yeah, interesting.
fair enough. Just fresh legs and in the attack, trying to get something off of it. And obviously Spurs responded with bringing Martha Thomas on and Mate Ross off. So yeah, it was again, it was sort of stop-start, fouls and stoppages and various different chances, and just it was one of those games really. But obviously it was Spurs that eventually made the breakthrough. It was sort of Martha Thomas and Jess Naz sort of combination play, and they got it back to Beth England. Who else? And she just ran onto it and sort of tapped it in. Well, tapped it in with a bit of underestimation. Put it into the bottom corner with sort of fair power. Not really tapped in. But yeah, it was sort of, it looked kind of like, you know, that was going to be it. But obviously Brighton managed to get themselves back in, and yeah, I think, or I can't pronounce. I'm going to butcher her name. Ollie Slager's her goal was pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to need to read up on all his pronunciations. But yeah, she got them into it about 7 minutes after the goal, and yeah, I mean, we had a bit more sort of drama at the end with the steward having a medical emergency. Luckily, they were okay, and hopefully they're doing okay at the moment, because that's never a good thing to happen. But I think players took the disruption well, and yeah, there wasn't much that happened after that. It just sort of fizzled out really, and just ended in a draw, which was probably about right.
Yeah, so I was just looking while you were talking at the report and the stats, and you just think, how did something more not happen? And I know in the chat people are saying, you know, about Becky Spencer not being involved. She wasn't even named in the squad in the sub. So I can't remember seeing anything about an injury. I've just had a quick Google and I can't say anything. But yeah, it's just kind of gone a bit quiet. We'll have to come back and confirm that one. But yeah, Heaps was in goal for Spurs. And again, just looking, I don't know if anyone else has seen, but BBC Sport have changed the way they do their stats, and there's more analysis, and it's really, really good. So Brighton, 16 shots, 9 on target, and only scored 1. That's pretty. It's not the Brighton that we've seen, is it? During the season so far, Spurs with 9 shots, 4 on target. So again, better averages there. But goalkeepers, though, with you saying they had quite a lot to do, Heaps had to make 8 saves. You just think if Brighton could have been just a little bit more clinical or a bit more creative, maybe, then they could have got something past her.
She's a young goalie, 21.
Yeah, so it's a lot of pressure to put on a young keeper's shoulders, isn't it? So yeah, just very disappointing. A disappointing game, that one.
Eleanor Heaps factoid. She was one of the goalies in one of the list of goalies in the team that used the most goalies in a single season, which was Coventry United in the relegation season, where we used 7 in total, including 2 emergency goalies. So they were Eleanor Heaps, Jodie Whiteman, Kiara Keating, Liv Clark until she left, because that was one game, Saf Middleton Patel, Demi Lambourne, and there was one that I'm missing, and it's really annoying. It might have been 6, not 7. I might need to look that up and check.
Wow.
But yeah, several goalies who are still playing in the Championship, and Kiara Keating. Who is still the reason why I despise Grace Clinton, because Grace Clinton absolutely nobbled Kiara Keating with a dirty tackle against Bristol City for 2-1 up. And if Coventry United had won that game, they might still be in Coventry. But
But
There we
apart from that,
But apart from that,
update in the Arsenal game, Caitlin Ford has come off and Lena Herzig has come on in the 70th minute. So hopefully she can work some magic and get... I mean, again, they're both through, so it won't matter, but it'd be nice to see a few more goals to make it a proper ding-dong. In the chat, talking about you on a side of Al to San Diego Wave. Ooh.
team with toxic culture, and they sign Unicidal. That's going to go well.
Yeah.
Hey, if they know what they want, clearly. And all power to them. Right then.
Imagine you're a player there, you go from Jill Ellis to Jonas Ideville.
Again, that could be a completely different podcast.
Do we reckon Casey Stone is going to post another shady tweet about it?
Oh, I hope so. I really, really do. Yes. That's why I'm commenting on it. That's why we're talking about it. Yeah, but hey, if that's what they want, if that's what they want to do, we all know as well rumours.
Who's going to take Arsenal's penalty if Kim Little's gone off? Probably be Beth Mead, won't it?
Who does take the penalties? Russo? Russo take some pens?
I mean, you've got to pad those stats any way you can. You know, Luca's got to get paid.
Caldente.
There you go.
Makes sense.
Okay.
And she scores. Well, hey, 3-2. Mariana Caldente from the spot. Converts.
She missed one the other day. So.
No, went off the crossbar, didn't it? Ooh. Hey, we'll talk about that in a moment, Chloe. Don't. We're coming back. Now, I'm going to spread some joy. As I said earlier, I'm going to wax lyrical about Adriana Leon because Villa won. Can we just take a moment? Villa have 3 points and they won 3-1 against West Ham. And Adriana Leon just deserves the world. She really does. She scored a brace after not getting picked for the starting lineup, hardly really getting any minutes. And in capital letters, that's why we start Dre. Okay, that's Sean Gorter era. Yes, absolutely. Because for some bizarre reason, so on the Thursday pod where we talk about Villa, one of the things that we've always been saying is, why are you constantly playing players out of position? Some players are versatile. We get that. They can play in other positions. Kenza Dali is a bloody 10. All right? Stop shoving her out on the wing. She's not... Anyway, let's go back to the match. So, looking at the starting lineup then, when it came out, we were like, oh my God, this is the lineup we've been screaming for all season. So, first up, Rachel Daly was a 9, right? She was up front. Behind her was Kenza in a 10, with Dree and Ebony Salmon in their right places. Then we had Jordan Nobbs and Lucy Stan behind them, and then a really strong back four. And we just think, but if that was so obvious, where's that been? The rest of the season, where's that been? So yeah, so a brilliant start for Sean Gorter for picking that team. And it looked like the team itself were just completely rejuvenated. And I was live tweeting it from the pod account. I was like, this is a joy to watch. Like, this is the Villa a couple of seasons ago when Rachel Daly won the Golden Boot and just everything was going right. And it was a pleasure to watch. And you just think, oh, is this what it's like to be a Chelsea fan? Where things just go right and you win. And it's quite nice. Hey, we'll do a live watch along one day. We'll do a live watch along. Yeah, we'll come to that. When it was announced that Robert Powell got sacked, within minutes, Dree, Kenza, Maz, a lot of the players that had been sidelined under him were like, yes, we like it. See you later. Off you pop. Because, again, he always came across as quite nice. He came across as he has his new philosophy. But for whatever reason, just wasn't working. And fair play to Villa, they've gone, we want better. Off you go. So again, great impression so far. Now, back to the match. I promise I will talk about it. So West Ham, of course, for all their credit, they were never really out of the game. And Denton, Pavi, Gori, and Asei, incredible, really, really impressed. They were annoyingly good to fight against Villa. Now, in the 4th minute, okay, another reason why we always start Dre. Adriana Leon intercepts the ball from Katrina Gori, goes on a driving run, and just no one there, just in loads of space, shoots with the right foot from the edge of the 18-yard box, curves beautifully into the bottom left-hand corner, and the celebration said everything. Literally, fist pumping, everyone jumping up and being like, yes, she's back, she can do it. Because we can see what she does for Canada, and you just think, why is she not being picked? But that kind of summed it right up. West Ham almost had a chance not too long afterwards. Their summer signing, Pubel, she's a Swiss international, really growing into the team this season, but had to be forced off the ball by Dan Turner. Daly came close to scoring 2 in the first half, looking much more confident in the 9 role, funny that. And West Ham then equalised in the 21st minute. So, like I said, we're never really out the game. Katrina Gori, again, with a lovely cross into the box, finds the head of Asei. Now, there were shouts for offside, and from the one beautiful camera angle that we have in the WSL, it did look offside. However, the lino was happy, flag stayed down, so it was classed as a goal. If we do get more than one camera, as we are promised next season, it will make all the difference. So yeah, 1-1 at this point. Now, shout out to Jordan Nobbs as well. It was her 200th WSL appearance, and we were all kind of wishing for a birthday volley, which is known for, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. Did come close a few times, though. Now, just before half-time, the magic link-up, and again, I'm saying these words, Kenza Darley receiving the ball beautifully from Lucy Staniforth in midfield, did a lovely little turn and ran straight through the middle, ran straight through everyone, slipped the ball through to Dree on the right, and again, tapped it in for 2-1. And you just think, where's this Villa been? This is brilliant. Now, second half, again, West Ham were very much still in it, fighting for those points. Now, I'm sure it was Pavi, how she didn't score, I do not know. It comes across goal, and Sabs, I think, must have taken a touch with like an ankle just to deflect it slightly, and it went wide. No idea how it didn't go in. West Ham overall, looking at the whole match, weren't without their chances. They had 13 shots, 5 on target, 6 corners. Pretty similar to Villa, 15 shots, 5 on target, so hardly anything in it. But for once, Villa took their chances and were able to put the ball in the back of the net. Now, the final nail in the coffin came in the 83rd minute when Kenza Darley once again picked up the ball, loads of space, drive and run into the box, took a chance, shot and scored. And again, with a right foot just into the top left-hand corner. And everyone was kind of like, it's 3-1. We've scored goals and we've won. We haven't given it away in the 92nd minute. And I don't know if anyone saw the pictures, but kind of all around the country, there was a really beautiful sunset as well. So everyone's pictures of like the final whistle are like these beautiful, like orangey, purpley skies. And it just like everything settled into place and it was fantastic. And you just feel like the players have got such a weight off their shoulders that either because DePauw's gone or because they were under pressure from something else, but they just feel like they can be free and they can play how they want to play and just really, really go for it. And Kenza, even in her post-match, said, I love this club, I love this team, I love playing football. And you can just tell that's back. That love of the game is back. And with that, Villa move into 7th with 9 points. And there are a couple of teams on 9 points as well. So again, it's all to play for in the middle and the bottom of the pack. But yeah, I loved it, in case you couldn't tell. I thought it was a cracking match and it was fantastic. Now, Chloe, we're going to come back to you for the time because I'm just seeing it's 10 to 10. So, Chloe, we're going to talk about Liverpool 0, Arsenal 1. Renee Slegger's working her magic, even though it was a narrow win. So, yeah, talk us through this one, please, Chloe.
Yeah, when they talk about matches being ding-dongs, yeah, this was one definitely for sure. I think really it was Liverpool. I mean, we know they can be a tough team, but they've struggled a bit this season. But it's good to see them actually sort of brilliant to Arsenal, really. It was, I think, for first 15 minutes, they sort of totally dominated. Like Kerry Holland seems to be the target by Arsenal because she won 2 free kicks and she was fouled by Frida Marlin and Caitlin Ford. It was like, okay, I think we know which player you're sort of targeting here. I mean, she also had a shot blocked. But yeah, there's so many sort of chances or attempts in the first 15 minutes, and yeah, it looked like it might have been them sort of getting the goal, but no, it was obviously Arsenal. Arsenal getting the goal. So yeah, it was about 20th minute, and of course it's Paul's friend Leslie Russo who tapped the ball in, and then won a penalty as well, which obviously we mentioned it earlier. Mariona Caldente was the one taking a penalty. Unfortunately, sort of hit the post, hit the crossbar. Yeah, thank goodness it went sort of slightly differently tonight for her. But yeah, it was sort of an exchange of sort of both teams were just going for it, and sometimes that's what you need, just both teams just going for it. I mean, the scoreline doesn't really reflect what was going on. There probably should have been more, but I don't think they were clinical enough, really. Yeah, there's quite a lot going on in the second half as well, and you really did not want to take your chances off it. It was more Arsenal in the second half, obviously having sort of taken a lead in the first half, so obviously trying to push for another one, and that's what they really seem to be doing under Rennie Slagers, and maybe she will get the job later on. But it was the last few minutes, definitely, when there was sort of exchange of chances, but it just sort of fizzled out, and yeah, ended up with Arsenal winning 1-0 and get another win under Rennie Slagers, and I guess we'll see where we go from there after the winter break.
And that's the thing, it's how you get the 3 points, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, the points. Just looking at some of those stats, Arsenal 12 shots to Liverpool 6. On target only 3 compared to 1. So yeah, neither team could really make much of it, could they? Even down to goalkeeper saves. Tegan Micah only had to make 2. And you'd think out of all those shots from Arsenal, you'd think two should save a lot more than 2. And who was in goal? Was Van Domstar in goal? Yeah. She only made 1 save. You're just saying, okay, so that was quite a match there for what's going on. Interestingly, Matt Beard needs to go. I disagree. I genuinely think he's in a rough situation. Again, we've talked about financial restraints and how we said, there's no money in January even to really bring anyone in. He's talked. If anyone didn't see his post-match, please go back and watch it because it was fantastic. Because he said, at the end of the day, they came into pre-season. I think he said he only had, was it 9 players or 12 players? Because the others were injured from various tournaments, from international duty. And they've been playing catch-up ever since. So I think he's doing the best he can, a bit like Brian Sorensen. Not as bad as what Sorensen's got to deal with, but yeah, I don't agree with him going. Paul, have you got any thoughts on that one?
I don't think there's anyone who replaces him.
Well, that's also the thing, isn't it? Yeah,
it's my instinct because again, if Matt Beard went into one of the clubs that had issues with managers and slightly toxic culture, he would turn it around in moments because he's very much a player's manager and players want to play for him, and you can see Liverpool still want to play for him. Yeah, and if he were to make a move, there's this second tier of managers in the WSL who you almost think should be at the top clubs, or should step into the top clubs if the top clubs let go. Like Gareth Taylor is clearly doing a decent job at Man City at the moment. And Chloe Kelly there appears to be the exception rather than the rule in terms of players who don't like playing in a team underneath it. But
yeah,
you know, if you were looking at someone like Matt Beard, and you gave him again Manchester United, if you gave him Man City, it would be really interesting to see what he could do, because you know, he's and Robert Villaham as well. But you know, Matt says I think Rob Villaham will be the next WSL manager to be sacked, probably. But again, it's a question of should he be, or do clubs stick with the project?
They've got 7 players out at the moment.
Yeah,
which is insane.
It's a club being realistic about, you know, is the manager not performing because they're genuinely not performing, or are they doing the best with what they've got?
I think you have a problem in the WSL where, because there's still a massive gap between the clear have teams, as it were, because there's a massive gap between Chelsea and, I mean, Chelsea, you could probably put most decent managers in charge of that team and they would do pretty well. Because of the culture that Emma Hayes has brought in and Sonia Bonpastor has cleared, where the players are just relentlessly professional. Yeah. And the Chelsea players make it easy to manage them because they're just a ruthless, relentlessly professional club. You know, you've got Millie Bright there, you've got Sophie Ingle there, you've got all of the players who just get on with it. And that is a tribute again to what Emma Hayes has created. And you're now in a situation where lots of other teams are trying to create that in their own way, but without a Russian billionaire or an American billionaire or oil money, or in Arsenal's case, all the facilities that they'd already had because of the culture of professionalism that Vic Akers had brought in before anybody else had gone anywhere near thinking about that.
Yeah, it's those foundations, isn't it?
So the rest of the league are playing catch up, and that's the thing. And you know, you're being harsh on Matt Beard saying he should go for Liverpool, but I think if Liverpool sacked him, they would be foolish because there's not really. Carla Ward, maybe, if she fancied going back into management, could take that job on. But realistically, because there's not enough good coaches to go around, you're in a position where you're either appointing an untested coach, which isn't going to happen in the WSL because everybody's so desperate not to slay the golden goose and everyone's terrified of dropping to the championship.
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah, you don't want to sack anyone for the sake of it. You want it to be for the right reason.
I keep saying this. Elizabeth Gunner's not here, but what has she done? All of the elite women's football managers aren't going anywhere because they've been fucked up.
Was she rumoured for Brighton?
She was rumoured for Chelsea. She was one of.
Oh, was she?
She was one of the Chelsea names.
I knew she was rumoured for someone.
Very, very much a backup for like Bonpastor, Stoney, Laura Harvey, that kind of tier. She's very much the second tier. Zach, funny you should mention this. Steph Libby is probably at this point the kind of person who deserves a top job, as it were, management-wise, like as opposed to an assistant. But
yeah,
maybe. You know, I mean, the other option is they go to someone like Mel Ray, or they go into the Championship and they look for people like Mel Ray, or they look for people, from the next tier down. But again, are you going to, because of the gap, are clubs like Liverpool going to take a risk with someone like Mel Ray? Are they, heck?
No. Especially when Matt Beard, on all accounts, is not doing a bad job. They're not. They just had a very good season last season. So again, it's expectations, isn't it? And
the only name realistically out there is Carla Ward, and she, in terms of WSL, who could come in, and she would need to be tempted back in.
I would say probably more international for Carla Ward. Carla Ward for the Scotland job. That's what I'm going for.
Oh, see, that would be interesting.
It'd be a very good one.
Because
I
can see Liverpool sacking, if they sack Matt Beard, they do something like go for Martinez Losa, because they look at him having previously been Arsenal manager and Scotland international manager and all that sort of thing. He's the kind of name that Liverpool merits.
He's a name, yeah. But also names aren't always the best, aren't they?
As you see, Nova Kaminsky, for example. That's what you want to be doing.
Doing a cracker job. Yeah. You want to find like the diamonds in the rough almost, don't you? To be able to kind of go forward and give that right support. Carla Wood for Ireland job as well. Carla Wood for any job. I'm here. But I do think international will suit her. We're just going to pause on the WSL slightly because I know Chloe's got to leave us. So we're just going to pop over to the Championship slightly. Graham, if you're listening, we're going to talk about your team. Please ignore the top one. That was meant to be Newcastle Blackburn. So we're going to talk about Birmingham City 0, Charlton 0. So Chloe, this one, I mean, if we look at here, Birmingham City have still retained their top status, but just Bristol right behind them. Tell us about this one, please, Chloe.
Yeah, I've talked about a ding dong before. This wasn't this wasn't it. It was one of those where sort of defence sort of played a part and sort of ultimately won each of them a point, really. Obviously Durham defeated Birmingham in the previous round of matches, so they made a few changes. They brought Martha Harris in, Cho Yuri and Cho Soo Hyun in place of Rebecca McKenna, Tegan McGowan and Lily Agg. But it was as a scoreline suggests, it's quite a quiet game. It was sort of two teams trying to sort of work each other out, really. I mean, you had a couple of chances that you probably highlight with Simone McGill, who dispossessed Alyssa Ndow. Sort of went towards goal, but Sophie Whitehouse sort of put in a good save. And then you had Christy Harrison-Murray, who tried to sort of make a connection with the strike, didn't quite sort of make it. And who else was there? Simone McGill. She seemed to pop up quite a bit in this game. She sort of tried to sort of head the ball goalwards, but it just sort of bounced past, unfortunately. But Charlton put a good in a good display defensively. That was really the theme of the match, really, with them obviously being sort of lower down in the table. I think it's a case of let's try and get a point at least from this game. A win would be amazing, but let's try and get a point. And it was about the same. Not much action. It was the added minutes where suddenly both teams were like, "Oh, hold on, it's still 0-0. Let's try and get a win." But I mean, for Charlton, they almost did. It was Eddie Brazil who had literally two chances.
Eddie Brazil,
both of them being one-on-one chances. First one, she sent it wide. Second one was saved by Lucy Thomas. And then Simone McGill popped up, had a chance and was blocked. But That's it. No goals and a point for each.
Yeah, again, just looking at these stats while you were talking, Birmingham had 8 shots, 1 on target. Charlton had 6 with 4 on target. Birmingham 4 goalkeeper saves. Charlton only had 1. So yeah, out the 2, it looked like Charlton should have been able to do more. I was just watching a little bit of Amy Merrick's post match there as well, and she said it's been a frustrating week. They've had injuries. They've had loads of players out on international duty, and it gets that point at Christmas, doesn't it, where just everyone's knackered and it's just like everyone just needs kind of a break and refresh, and yeah, you just think what's going on. Graham, yeah, it was a slow burner. Impressed with our performance, much more solid defensively, as you said, Chloe, and well organised. We limited Birmingham to very little. How Ellie Brazil didn't score right at the end, we do not know. And Emma's put, why is Ellie Brazil about 7'3"? She's tall and she's quick with this one. Claire's joining us. Feliz Navidad, yes, and to you. And El Prospero Año, a good new year to you too, as the song rightly says. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, however, she's got nothing on Izzy Goodwin, friend of the pod, Izzy Goodwin, who is about 10'2". So there we go. Thank you very much.
Hi, Nancy.
Nancy's just saying hello.
Just saw a glint of green and like, hello, Nancy. Perfect. Right, let me cross that off. Thank you very much, Chloe.
This is where I disappear. Bye.
See you later. Right. And then there were the two chaotic ones. Here we go. Right then, back to the WSL. Got a bit of whiplash. Right, we're going to come to the other controversial game of the week. Leicester won, Chelsea won. Paul, they're still unbeaten. However, their winning streak has come to an end by Leicester of all people. Talk us through it, please.
Leicester gave Chelsea a hell of a scare, and it wasn't even a hell of a scare where Leicester were the better team, because the stats in the end. Again, this was another one where a little team at home. Sorry, Leicester fans. A smaller team at home managed to kind of hold out, and they really did defend for their lives, Leicester. Like, it was a proper Rorke's Drift Wereguard action. 28 shots to 2.
Wow.
That was the final. But crucially, only 6 of them were on target.
Huh.
Again, 72% of the possession for Chelsea. But again, it's really interesting things because, Chelsea had 20 corners.
20
corners, which must
stats then. What's going on there?
That's easy mode on FIFA level stats. That is, isn't it? And I'm gonna rant a little about the commentary as well, because
Please do. Okay.
WSL commentary is a favoured thing for us to moan about, but honestly, the guy who they had for Leicester versus Chelsea, was treating most of it like a payday, which is fair enough because it's work, so you've got to sound fairly neutral. But mate, give it some. This is one of the biggest, for 50 minutes. This is one of the biggest shocks the WSL has seen in years. This is massive. Like, he's just sat there and Chelsea attack and it goes wide again, and you sat there like, are you just waiting for Chelsea to score so you can get excited? Is this what's going on here? Are we not going to get excited? Missy Goodwin scored the opener, and it was almost like, oh look, Leicester have scored. Well done.
You've you've got to like, if you're a commentator, you've got to enjoy it, regardless of what's going on. Even if it's a boring game, like you find something to talk about. You put your emotion, your personality into it, and I think, yeah.
There aren't many people.
Would it happen in the men's? Probably not.
There aren't many WSL commentators who do that. This is the thing. We can all name the good ones.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Very quickly.
Matthew saying there, the commentator's actually done some commentary on Chelsea games before, both male and female. Ah, interesting.
Did he sound more interested in those? Because, like...
Yeah. Tony's actually, but he said some out of line things. Oh, what did he say, Tony?
This is the thing, because I was kind of in and out of it, obviously, so I wasn't watching the whole game.
You know what ex-Arsenal players talk about. Yeah, if any, like everyone that Villa has, they're all, and it's ex-Arsenal player Anna Patton, and it's ex-Arsenal Noel Moritz. Like it's never like just
Anna Patton, just Republic of Ireland international Anna Patton.
Yes.
You know, that got Swiss international Noel Moritz. I mean, see, this is the thing. If all it was he went at Lucy Bonds, this has been a debate this week, and people have been talking about criticism in the women's game. And Izzy Christensen, who we absolutely stan, who is by far the best pundit and should frankly be on every big game in the WSL because it would serve the league far better. She basically said it's elite sport and we need to remember this.
Yeah.
And women's football has far too much of a problem where the people commentating are mates with people.
Yeah.
And the media are mates with people because it's the people who have been doing it for ages when they were shorter. Or it's the people who don't care. You just see it as a payday.
Yeah. Because
you haven't got... And that really annoyed me because Leicester were absolutely defending for their lives. Like absolute credit to Leicester. The Chelsea fans are saying we were rubbish, but Leicester were absolutely defending for their lives.
Mm.
And this is the trouble. This is a tendency with WSL commentary and to some degree the men's game, but definitely the WSL. If a team that isn't in the big three pushes the big three, it's because the big three were shit.
Mm. Yeah, it's never the other team actually played well. Yeah.
You know, it was all the focus afterwards was, Man City losing to Everton. That was, that's a disaster for Man City. How have they managed to do that? They should never have done that. It's a horrific performance for Gareth Taylor, blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
And, all of the focus on this was how bad Chelsea were. And Chelsea were not at their best.
No.
It was obvious. You can see that. The Vicky Captain goal, by the way, was a very good one.
Yeah. No, it was, yeah.
But there was just as it got nearer and nearer the final 10 minutes, there was just none of the stuff you'd start to expect in the men's game of, rising excitement. Oh, Leicester are defending for their lives here. Can they hold on for the final 15 minutes for a famous victory? All of that kind of stuff. It was just Chelsea are attacking again. Bronze plays the ball.
Imagine though, like we will watch it, and hey, we've said it before. Just give us a stream, like if you no commentator, like just give us a time and a score and just stream. We're happy because we're genuinely interested in the game. But if you're going to put a commentator on,
they've got to add to it.
Yeah, because the Villa Arsenal match, when we talked about it before, the commentator didn't turn up to like 38 minutes in, and even then he sounded like he was underwater. And before that, it was just people like coughing and sneezing that you could hear. I'd rather that, to be honest, than a subpar commentator because
it's just that weird kind of COVID football where it was just an empty stadium and sounds.
Yeah, it bothers us. I'd love to have a go to see what it's like. I'd really
I do think part of the problem is that, and I'm biased. I am again, declaring self-interest, I'm incredibly biased because it's literally been my job and I want it to be my job again.
Yeah. And we know that you're incredible and you would be good.
But
Very good.
like it's almost, there are too many people who still just see it as a pay check that don't in the men's game. Like I know obviously Michael McCann, who we love.
We do.
And I've seen the work he does for women's games. I've seen the work he does for men's games. And it's exactly the same. You know, the level of preparation is exactly the same. The work he puts into it is exactly the same, even though commentating on the men's championship like he does is considered by most people still more prestigious. He puts the same amount of work into it.
Yeah.
And that's what, you know, and that's why people love his commentary. And it's just, people are like, you know, the women's game still deserves more. And
I know Sophie's comment's just making us laugh, and it's 3 or 4 times the cameraman forgot there was following the ball, and you just then you could just see them going, whoop.
And it's
like
this is the thing, you know, it's not 2020 anymore. It's not the first flush of we should be covering this.
Yeah, they've had a couple of years now.
They've had a couple of years. Audiences are much bigger than, you know, it's not a few hundred people on the FA Player now. It's 40,000 people or so were watching.
Yeah.
The Arsenal game. Probably more than that are going to be watching the Chelsea game. Make an effort.
The demand's there. Give the people what they want. That's it. That's all we're saying. Or just give it to people that deserve it and can do a really, really good job with that one. Yeah, perfect. So Chelsea won, Leicester won.
But I think I pity who plays Chelsea next, because all that's done is poke the bear, and Sonia Bonpasta will not accept that level of performance. So
West Ham, good luck to them.
West Ham are probably going to get the backlash of that.
Yeah,
because Chelsea are going to want to send a message after going into the winter break like that,
aren't they? If they got cup games before that, though,
and they still gained points. Chelsea still gained a point on Man City.
But they're not happy at all.
It's the ridiculousness of it.
22nd of January.
I think Bonpasta for that FA Cup game. I think Bonpasta will rotate. With no disrespect to Charlton, I think Bonpasta will rotate.
Yeah, no, because so the first WSL games back are the 18th and 17th to 19th of January. Then we've got the League Cup on the 22nd. That feels very close.
It will be Tuesday and Wednesday. So
it's just crap, isn't it? So the next one actually, 4th round of the FA Cup. That's Chelsea Charlton on the 12th. So unfortunately, I think Charlton are going to get the wrath of that. But like you said, it'll be a rotated side, won't it?
They're showing 8 of the games. Chris mentioning how they're showing them on the BBC iPlayer and YouTube. They're showing over half the games. One of them showing games like Rugby Borough against London Bees, which is Lee Birch going against his former team. Manager returning to his former team.
And it's those games, like the magic of the cup is alive. Like they're the games that you wanna watch. So, I mean, hopefully somewhere's shown it. Like even if they just set someone up with a tripod and live stream it on their own YouTube channel.
I mean, probably not because sadly, but about 50 people turn up to Rugby Borough, which is about 1/10 of who used to turn up in Coventry.
We should go. Let's go to Rugby Borough. Let's put another 2 people in the stands.
There's a little bit of bitterness about that. So, you know, they stole my team. So
you can be there in support. Our cup games on the WSL player. Yeah, it's Everton Villa on Emma's birthday. What a good one. I think that's a way to Walton Hall Park, isn't it? That one.
So go on, get down to Walton Hall Park.
That song, honestly, stuck in my head for forever. And it's great. I love it. More clubs need a jingle like Walton Hall Park. They really, really do. We've got one more to talk about in the WSL, and then we can do our championship, which there's only a couple of games this week, wasn't there? So the last one we've got then, Paul, your favourite, Palace 0, Man United 1. But I thought Palace were actually quite unlucky not to get something from this one. But yeah, what do you think? Palace 0, United 1.
Again, classically, Man United keep winning somehow. And at this point, you start to wonder when it is, when it is going to drop, when the other shoe is going to drop, or whether Mark Skinner is going to have his player saving him. But it says something that every time Man United win, their fans are just, that was crap. Not even in an entitled way, not even in a we used to winning, we won 7 or 8 kind of way. Just that was crap. That was disjointed. We're going to get hammered by a big team. It's a team waiting for the illusion to break. It's full on Emperor's New Clothes. Mark Skinner is currently riding on a coach through the centre of town, and nobody is pointing out that he is in fact not wearing any clothes. There's an image for everybody.
It's just before bedtime. I don't want that.
But yeah, but the trouble is, at this point, there are now loads of people pointing and going, hold on a minute. Everything that's being said, this team aren't that good. And they're not, but they're still getting points because Grace Clinton is pulling them out the fire, or Liz Turland is scoring.
And Fallon Tullis-Joyce being annoyingly good.
Yes. And he knows that.
Yeah, saving him.
And that's bad for all concerned.
Yeah.
Ideally, Fallon Tullis-Joyce would be called away on, I don't know, a month-long scuba dive that she's forgotten that she's got to do for her marine biology university course or something. Like some countries' players being called away for national service, just something like that. Something that takes her away from the team, not so she's injured or anything, just something so Man United have to play without her, and then they suddenly realise actually we're not that good.
Like a wellness retreat up in the Himalayas or something like that. Be
just decide, that she has to go and do something else.
Yeah,
this is the trouble. There's no way for a professional footballer to take time away from football without it being bad. So you can't really turn around and say, yeah, this is what needs to happen. But that would be the best long-term thing for. And I think even Man United fans now are like, well, yeah, we keep winning, but at what cost?
Yeah, that overarching thing of, well, he keeps the job because the results are going that way. And again, because they've got the stats behind them of they've got the best defensive record in the league, and all of these things, and you're like, okay, so why aren't, so if we look at the table again, so fourth, 21 points with Arsenal, then City are on 22, Chelsea are on 28. So they're still in and about. But of course, United want to be up there. They want to be pushing for top 3, don't they?
And they were just notably crap against the big teams.
But again, still managing a win. So it's, fair play to them. They're still managing a win, but it's not. I don't know. It's just not.
They're just not very likable, are they?
No. No. And we say that with the best of intentions. There's just nothing there to really draw you in to watch and to like. Obviously, get your comments in the chat, of course. Tell us what you think. Matthew saying, going on a gap year rather than have to deal with Skinner. Yep. Jury service. Yes. Unfortunately, not on weekends. Unfortunately.
A marine biology side quest.
It's just phenomenal. Maybe it should like turned into a dolphin or a mermaid for 6 months.
It's like a mix of FIFA and Skyrim. So it's FIFA, but occasionally she has to disappear off and collect 6 rare flowers or something. Travel to the other side of the planet to collect.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love that. A football open world RPG. Yes. Let's make it. Let's do a thing. So yeah, it's just it's interesting, isn't it? What's going to happen ultimately. So first weekend back then, because if we look at the table at the bottom, of course, Palace and Leicester, there's not much between them. So even that point against Chelsea, is still just keeping them in it. And if we look at the fixtures first weekend back, Leicester have got Spurs and Palace have got Arsenal as well. But hey, you never know. Palace have got it in them for an upset, haven't they?
Big chance for Leicester to get a few points there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying I hope so. If they get a win, then we're all in trouble. Because if you look at the teams on 9 points, you've got Villa, Liverpool, and Everton. And then Spurs are only just safe above that on 11. So again, Everton, Villa, first back, massive game for both teams. Arsenal, Palace, West Ham, Chelsea was said they're going to unleash all of their wrath, and Man City, Man United. What a good way to start the new year! A good Manchester derby. Do you think City will be able to get that win? I don't know how long Bunny Shaw's going to be out, and Gareth Taylor was very non-committal about Alex Greenwood as well.
I hope so. Because if Mark Skinner wins a Manchester derby, he's got the job for the next year or so, which
we don't want.
So then you ask Man United fans, do you want to win the Manchester derby or do you want a hammering and then a little bit of pressure back on Skinner?
Yeah.
Because again, as well, his contract ends in the summer.
Yeah.
And if he hasn't improved, then they might not offer him a new one. But if he has, and he might. By the way, Tony, it is a Sabres hoodie. It is a classic Buffalo Sabres hoodie, who are absolutely sucking at the moment. In classic Coventry sports fan fashion, always go for the underdog teams who are very lovable but suck.
Hey, that shows you're a true fan of the game.
It should be far better than they want to be, but yeah.
Graham's put there, the goal difference in the top 4 and the rest is quite eye-opening. Yeah, if you look at Chelsea's goal difference compared to even just down to Brighton, 1. And then it goes into the negative figures. I mean, it's just...
The nearest team to the top 4 is a 12 goal difference. It's a 12 goal gap.
Yeah. You can't... I mean, the championship's tight, but I think just the numbers in the WSL are just mad. Like the drop-off between 6th and 7th, 5th and 6th, I should say, sorry, is just...
It's not an interesting league. Or the top half of it is not an interesting league.
No.
The reason we seize upon weekends like this one is because they are so rare. Whereas in the championship, shock results happen every week.
And we're going to talk about them very, very soon. I do just want to have one final massive shout out for her for just being incredible, and we will sing her praises until the cows come home. Because we, as Villa fans, I say we, the royal we were getting quite worried that players like Dree, like Maz, maybe even Kenza were going to look elsewhere in January because they just weren't getting the minutes. But hopefully now we stay. We say they stay.
That,
And
while you change it, that does age you, Tony. If you're making a Dominic Hasek playing for the Sabres reference, that's 20 years old at least. That's Peter Schmeichel playing for Man United type aging.
wow.
He was a goalie though. He was mental. He'd have fitted in well on Team Chaos.
Should we get him on? Yeah. And forgot to say, of course, Maz Pacheco finally got some league minutes. Maz is back. Maz is back. Right then, let's talk about the championship, shall we? So again, like we said, please ignore the postponed at the top. That's meant to say Newcastle Blackburn, because Blackburn were in, I believe, FA Cup third round against Kidderminster Harriers, where they won 4-0, which means they're going to meet Portsmouth in the fourth round in the new year. So there we go. So that's why Blackburn weren't playing this weekend. So we'll share these between us then, shall we? We'll talk first about probably the biggest upset. Bristol City 5, Durham 0. This one, again, with how Durham have been playing, I didn't expect a 5-0 battering. Paul, did you manage to see any of this one?
I did catch a bit of it. And Bristol City are finding their rhythm.
They are.
They're just starting to, look like the team who were actually promoted. Yeah. They've done that consolidation thing that teams do where they go down and adjust again. Mm. And the really weird thing, all the goals in not all the goals in the second half, because one was in first half injury time, but all after 45 minutes. So it was almost like Durham, the first half was pretty even. Not much of a game, not one that will live long in the memory, so to speak. One for the purists is the polite way of putting it. And then Emily Syme found the back of the net in injury time, and it's almost as if Bristol suddenly decided, oh, hold on a minute, we'll start playing now. Because 8 minutes after the restart, she got a second. Then Lexi Lloyd-Smith with a naughty goal. She makes a habit of those. She was massively underrated for Southampton last season. She didn't really get mentioned much. And it was a surprise when Southampton let her go, and she's really found her rhythm this season.
Yeah.
And then Tiana Teja, after 83 minutes, one of the latest products of the famous Bristol Academy, finding a goal, and Amali Testrup in the 98th minute as well, just kind of finishing off a 5-0 win, which...
Yeah. You just think you're 4-0 down, and then there's like 8 minutes-ish of stoppage time, and just end it.
Over with. Yeah.
Just end it. Again, looking at these stats, though, Bristol had 18 shots, 13 were on target, compared to Durham's 5 and 2. So, yeah, they were really forced on the back foot, weren't they?
It feels like one of those games that only happen once a season. I think, we talk about it being a shot. I think if Durham have any sense, they will look at this as, we'll take that one on the chin. It happens.
Yeah, that was our one.
That was the one. Everyone has one of those a season.
Sunderland's was their opening game against Birmingham City, getting beaten 5-0, and this is their 5-0. Again, goalkeeper saves though for Durham 8. So who was in goal? Was it Newman? Have I made that up? Saunders.
Tat Saunders.
Yeah, Saunders in goal. You just think if she hadn't made those 8, it would have been
nasty. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you watched bits of this one, and Durham looked lost for the first time, because they've been quite compact and robust, haven't they? Like we were saying earlier against Chelsea. And a question I was going to ask you was, even though they've suffered this defeat against Bristol, do you think that would have affected anything leading up to that Chelsea match? Or Are they going to go into it thinking, it's Chelsea, it's a free hit?
I think they're going to go in going free hit. Free hit. We'll go for it.
Got to, haven't they?
If we get thumped, we get thumped.
Yeah.
You know, they'll take the Matt Beard approach of who Matt Beard basically called Mark Skinner and Jonas Eidevall cowards in his pre-match press conference, where he was like, you know, we're going to have a go at Arsenal. If you know, if you set up to contain the big teams, you're going to lose. We're going to come out and have a go.
Yeah.
As it happens, apparently they didn't really, because neither team really turned up. But
no, you're absolutely right. And again, you've got to shoot your shot, haven't you? Absolutely. So that was at Bristol 5, Durham 0. Now everyone's talking about it in the chat, so I might as well get it over with. Sunderland 2, Portsmouth 2. The one team that you thought you could win 8-0, and Portsmouth go and just, oh dear me. So Graham's saying it, Tony's saying it. Yeah. This one, I mean, it just wasn't Sunderland's day at all. Sloppy, defense was non-existent for that first goal. No offense to Portsmouth, I know I sound really bitter, but the first goal shouldn't have happened from a Sunderland perspective. Given away so easily, no defense. Demi Lambourne had to just kind of come out and do our best, and it just went through her. The Lasses, on the other hand, then going 2-1 up, and you thought, oh, brilliant. Okay, they've had a bit of an open and wobble. Eleanor Dale crosses to find Kate Watson. You can see the relief on their faces, like, oh, 2-1, we've done it. But fair play to Portsmouth a minute later. So Sunderland went 2-1 up in like the 45th minute, so just after the restart, I think. 46th minute, Portsmouth get the equaliser, and you're like, what? What is happening here? Jenna Deere, I don't know if you saw it, Paul, but she missed a sitter just in the dying moments, and you think, oh, if that had just gone in to get, because we do love last minute winner at Sunderland. Just think if that had gone in. And I was looking at the post-match as well, because I wanted to see kind of thoughts on the game. Tash Fenson said, really honestly, they were lucky to get the draw, that they weren't good enough. And Mel Ray, who it was her 200th game in charge, said it'll be one they go away and assess majorly. So they all kind of knew that shouldn't have happened at all. But again, fair play to Portsmouth for taking their chances. Looking at the stats, Sunderland had 14 shots, Portsmouth had 12, which again for Portsmouth, getting better. Portsmouth had more shots on target. They had half, 6 out of 12. Sunderland only had 4. Demi Lambourne had to make 4 saves, whereas, who's in goal for Portsmouth? Annitz, yes, of course. Eve Annitz was in goal. Only had to make 2 saves. Let's have a look. Yeah, 2 saves. So again, really, there wasn't that much in it, but it just shows you when you take chances what can happen. But yeah, even where's it gone? Distribution. Touches in the box. Sunderland 13, Portsmouth 11. So yeah, the stats were fairly equal. A point was probably there. But yeah, it wasn't Sunderland's day, and fair play to Portsmouth for getting a result from it. Took their chance. But yeah, Sunderland should have won, and that's very, very disappointing. Because I genuinely forgot it was against Portsmouth. So what was I doing? I think I had another game on.
You were keeping an eye on Billy.
And yeah, I was like, 2-2, right again. I was like, Portsmouth. So yeah, not good at all. What did you think of that one, Paul, if you saw it?
I thought that it was one of those. I thought it was one of those where, again, those games that teams have. That if Jenna Deere scores that sitter at the end, everybody goes, we got away with that one.
Yeah, we got lucky, yeah.
But because because it goes wide, it's that's a disappointing result. Whereas Portsmouth are making their trip back to the South Coast, going, it's another point on the board. We're now within a win of Sheffield United. So all they need to do now is match Sheffield United the rest of the season and beat them in the head-to-head.
Yeah. That's literally it.
That's what they should be aiming at, or beat Sheffield, win the rest of the season. That league down the bottom.
And looking at these points, you've got between 1st and 8th, there are 5 points. 1st and 8th. And then we've got the bottom 3, as was said since the beginning. It's those 3 playing off against each other and hoping they beat each other and take those points. Sunderland being the anomaly, of course, with a -4 goal difference. Everyone else around them has a positive goal difference. So that, again, kind of shows the story of the season, I think.
That was their horrific start, though. They were -9 after 2 games. So
yeah, that was fun. That was a good start to my media press journalism career as well. Oh, the first one, 5-0. Oh, whoops. So yeah, it very hit and miss. I mean, still 5th. Still can't complain, but should have been much better indeed. Right then, so that was that one. Paul, can we come to you for? We've only got 2 more, haven't we? 1 more.
Yeah.
2 more. Yeah. Oh no, because we've already talked about it. Yeah, we've only got London City 3, Southampton 1. Yeah, watching this one, genuinely thought Southampton were really unlucky not to come away with some points for this one. Paul, did you manage to catch this one?
Again, it was a burst of 6 minutes. London City got 3 goals in 6 minutes. Apart from that, they were dead level. But Aslani, who Kosova Aslani, by the way, we can now officially say, hasn't really made the impact I think she probably expected, or probably everyone expected. She just looks like another player in the Championship.
Which is very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, she scored a couple of goals, but she hasn't, considering her pedigree, she hasn't really done much. Izzy Goodwin getting another goal, because that's what Izzy Goodwin does.
Was incredible.
I do wonder if in January, Izzy Goodwin there may be approaches being made to London City. I don't think they'll accept them because they've got someone who's richer than God running them. So they don't really need the money. But surely Izzy Goodwin now is attracting the attention of Super League sides.
She's got to. Because she was at Villa, of course, when she was younger. And her contract just says multi-year contract. That's it. So unless they've hidden it very well, there isn't actually a year end to that. So yeah, I think if anyone does want to go for her, again, not that they need the money, but it'll probably be for a significant fee because she is one of their top scorers, really, isn't she?
Top young players. If she was in the Super League doing this, there would be calls for her to be around the England setup. If she was doing this for a mid-table WSL team,
100%.
But because she's doing it in the Championship, you've got football journalist experts writing about how it's a boring season in the WSL and women's football needs to be fixed. It's like, just look the next league down then.
Yeah. All the excitement's down here. It's why we keep talking about it. Yeah, absolutely. And this is what, like, which other league looks like this? Like, where just you can't write it.
8 teams with a chance of going up in January.
Yeah.
Like
8 of them.
2/3 of the league. Over 2/3 of the league, because there's only 11
compared
teams.
to this, where it's literally a top and a bottom. And the ones at the bottom don't have a chance. And the ones at the top just keep, shuffling their decks around.
I mean, the WSL is basically all the teams hoping Chelsea slip up at this point.
Yeah, and again, that's no fun.
And that's the story of every season.
Yeah.
And every weekend, journalists are looking at it going, is this the weekend Chelsea? Oh, no, Chelsea have pulled out another 3 points. We've got to keep desperately trying to make this interesting.
Yeah.
Writing about it and write narratives about. And it's like, no, because there's no, and as well, like you say, because there's no mid-table European competition, there isn't even a race for Europe to discuss.
No.
It's, which teams will be in the Champions League? Oh, it'll just be which order Chelsea and Man City.
Yeah.
Chelsea,
Which
Arsenal, Man
ones
City end up, yeah.
going to qualify, yeah. And which one's got to go through the qualifying, yeah. And it's not interesting. So yeah, let's have Everton do the unthinkable and just completely batter the rest of the season and end up in Champions League. Do you imagine Everton in Champions League? That'd be phenomenal. Our Bri, in all of these stadiums across Europe, showing everyone how wonderful he is. That'd be great.
But he wouldn't last long at Everton then, because he'd get snapped up.
You get poached.
I think he'd get poached by Man United. I think then it'd definitely be right, sorry, Mark. You've been beaten by Brian Sorensen, so we'll have him from Everton because he's probably a bit cheaper because we can, you go back to Orlando Pride with your 30% winning record or whatever.
Yeah.
Tony just casually saying Aslani's done. She's only 32 though.
Is she?
She's. Have I taken a couple of years off her age? I've got to look that up and double check.
No.
But I was pretty sure.
So bad, Aslani. 35.
Oh, so yeah, one last payday. At the City.
Yeah, just seeing out the last few seasons. Although, according to Google, oh no, hang on. Google stats can sometimes be phenomenal and sometimes they can be awful.
That's just the internet, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is absolutely. It's just there. Don't forget the awesome fact when Bristol was in the Champions League in 2013, knocked out Barca. Facts like that feel like they shouldn't exist, and yet they do. Let's have a look. Oh, what Chris put? I can name the league. Northeast Regional Women's Football League, 6 points between 2nd and 7th with games in hand. But Chesley Street Town won 22 points after 8 games. Wow. And this is why you need to support your local teams as well as the big ones. Because, or else the drama passes you by. Chris has also put, we do love you, Chris. When the championship's back, Portsmouth versus Birmingham, Blackburn don't have a game again, and Sheffield versus Newcastle. So it's going to be a tough weekend for those at the bottom because Jamie Merrick's just fuming.
That doesn't surprise me.
So Portsmouth are in for a rude awakening there. How do you think? Because Blackburn have had an extended break. Do you think that'll do them some good, or do you think it'll hinder them having that lack of game?
I don't think it will help them as much as them playing the last weekend when Portsmouth don't. Portsmouth have effectively got one less weekend to.
Yeah, that's going to be horrible. That last weekend, literally watching your fate unfurl before you. That's going to be awful.
If they're not already down.
Yeah. If it comes down to that last game, we need to do a live stream or a live watch along, preferably from one of their grounds, just as it all unfolds. That would be incredible.
Well, just one from each ground, just all streaming in.
Yeah. Get some media passes and go in and stream it.
It only because there's six of us, we could do it. The Absolute Football Crew could do it between the 6 of us.
We could absolutely do it. Hey, we'll get the plans in motion now, and we'll start talking about it. We'll start thinking about it. yeah, that'll be a cracking last day. And I believe that brings us to the end of the championship. So just another quick roundup then. After match day 10, we've got Birmingham City on top on 20 points with a slightly better goal difference than Bristol City, who are also on 20 points. Then we've got London and Durham on 19 points, Sunderland on 17, Southampton, Newcastle and Charlton on 15. Then it drops away very, very suddenly to Blackburn on 6, Sheffield on 4 and Portsmouth on 2 points. One of which, of course, came this weekend against Sunderland. Story.
Which you'd rather forget.
Yes, and that's the last time we're going to talk about it. Please and thank you. Now, the last thing we're going to do before we let all you lovely people go, Paul had the idea of a Christmas wish list for every club. So if you do have any ideas what you think each club should wish for from Santa for the January window, please do let us know. Other Chloe, our Everton Chloe, in the chat said Everton would like a miracle for their Christmas list. Paul, have you got any thoughts on any clubs, what they would want for Christmas?
Chelsea, just to keep going, I think, and keeping everything ticking along. Manchester City, a new knee for Bunny Shaw and Alex Greenwood.
Yep.
And them to be okay. Arsenal, probably to keep going the way they're going as well, just to keep the rhythm going, and injury freeness, not losing.
Yes.
Not suffering the injuries that the other teams do, so they can possibly profit. Manchester United, a new manager. Either a way to be exposed so Mark's going to get sacked, or just a new manager for them.
Yeah.
And then where are we? I've got to go back to the table. This is bad.
Liverpool, just some money.
Liverpool, the resources of Man United, just to see
Yes.
what Matt Baker could do with them.
Nice.
Brighton need another goal scorer, I think.
Yeah. Because they're just missing that little something, aren't they?
If they had this turn this season, they'd be up in third place. I'm convinced with that squad.
Yeah. It's such a shame she went to United.
Yeah,
I wonder if she regrets it.
Probably not, because they're winning at the moment, and she's with her mate Salim. So
yeah, maybe.
Spurs goals.
Yeah,
because they've only scored 15 in 10 games.
Yeah,
which is still more than a good few of the teams. Everton have only scored 6, but are still just 2 points behind them. So again, the job Sorensen's done. What do Villa want for Christmas?
Well, I would have said to play players in their right positions, but we've got that now. So just keep that up. Keep that up would be wonderful. Maybe some slightly younger players coming through, because I think there was a stat. I think it was Sophie. I don't know if Sophie's still watching. Said that over half of our team now, like 32 and above, or 30 and above. And as much as they are quality players, we need to start planning for that future and that longevity. So yeah, maybe a plan. That's what Villa would like for Christmas.
Leicester need a striker.
Yes.
They have scored 3 goals in 10 games.
Ooh. Have we got any update on when Rantella's back?
We haven't, that I've seen.
No. Because that kind of all's gone a bit quiet, hasn't it?
It has a bit. It's a weird one. They do tend to go quiet, those.
Yeah.
Palace, I think Palace want the looks, just the swing. So those 1-goal games start going their way.
Yeah.
because a couple of those
something in that favour, yeah.
they just look to swing their way.
Yeah.
And same for West Ham.
Bit of a worry.
Because West Ham have got goal scorers. They just because they've scored 12 goals, but they've conceded 19, which is among the highest in the league. Only Spurs have conceded more.
But you watch them play, and they're good. Like they've got some really good players in there, so they just need something, don't they, to just kind of get that spark going.
I think Spurs are the ones to watch in January. I think we'll see more Swedes coming. I think Robert Villahan might be having a word or two.
But they're all at Arsenal. They can't.
But like you say, we joke about Everton going up the league, but if Everton get a goal scorer, the way Sorensen set them up, if Tony Payne starts finding goals,
yeah,
or Kelly Gargo starts finding goals,
yeah, and you've got like Meg Finnegan, strong as anything at the back, they could be certainly a force to be reckoned with. Yeah. Oh, I'd love that. That'd be great.
Make life interesting.
Watch this space.
To be fair, some speed in centre backs. Zach says.
Yes, so Zach's put there as a City supporter. I'll say the health of all is injured, and if not, maybe some speed in our centre backs. We're spilled by speed against Everton, and the same again against Barca. Yeah. Chelsea want some players injury free as a whole. I know it sounds rich, but we have quite a big injury list. Yes, we've got depth, but we don't have 2 GRK. Yeah, there's only one written Cannerid, isn't there? Chris wants for Spenny Moor Town is healing items because we have players out injured. Yeah, again, talking about side quests, you just want to like pick up like loads of rations and just hand them out or health potions.
Loads of bandages.
Yeah.
Little health packs.
Yeah.
I do wonder actually with Villahan if there will be a case where he'll go and say, right, okay, I want reinforcements, and the board will say, yeah, okay, but if you don't do something with them, you don't.
Yeah, kind of prove
because he has been backed quite well by Spurs in terms of players that they brought in.
Yeah. No, exactly, and it's clubs, of course, want results, don't they? They want return on investment. Graham wants a healthy Carla Humphrey back, an unbeaten run that we had last season for Charlton. Yeah, that would be good for them. Again, because Charlton, have a look, 8th, but again, still on 15 points. So again, one win changes the whole of that setup. So I think again in the Championship you can't take much stock about kind of position at the minute because a game can literally change.
It changes week to week, yeah.
Yeah, literally week to week. Perfect. Right then. I think that might be everything. Apart from Paul, you wanted to share something with us, didn't you?
I was hoping I'd get away with the 12 WSL of Christmas. Right, okay. Here we go then.
Performance incoming, everyone. Get your popcorn.
I've worked it out in the end. And one from each team. So there may not be the predictable players, but there is one representative of every team. So spot them. And also, the 5 may not be a player who hasn't played much yet, but, there it is.
Watch the space.
It had to go in, With a name like that, she had to go in there.
Let's go in.
So, and, oh no, I've picked Villa twice. I've picked Villa twice.
It's fine.
So which team have I missed?
What team have you missed?
Oh, hold on. Yes, wait. On that one I have. No, it was Palace. I fixed it now. I think it was Brighton and Arsenal, but I fixed it now.
Yeah, there isn't an Arsenal, yeah.
So that the one in the private chat isn't the up-to-date version. So you're getting this one as well as a world premiere.
We're getting it live. Oh.
On the first day of Christmas, do you want a dramatic reading? Because I can't sing.
Yes, please. Yes.
On the first day of Christmas, the WSL gave to me a dahlia in a pear tree.
Love it.
On the second day of Christmas, the WSL gave to me both home guard twins and a dahlia in a pear tree. On the third day of Christmas, the WSL gave to me 3 Lizzie Turlands, 2 home guard twins, and a dahlia in a pear tree. This one's a little bit. This one might fit. On the fourth day of Christmas, the WSL gave to me 4 Rico Weckes, 3 Lizzie Turlands, 2 home guard twins, and a dahlia in a pear tree.
Brilliant.
You're just waiting for this one, aren't you? Everyone's waiting. For this one.
Yes, I am.
On the fifth day of Christmas, the WSL gave to me 5 Beijings.
I love
4
it.
Rico Weckes, 3 Liz Turlands, 2 home guard twins, and a dahlia in a pear tree. On the sixth day of Christmas, the WSL gave to me 6 Hayley Vassars, 5 Beijings. I bought a bit too much into that. 4 Rico Weckes, 3 Lizzie Turlands, 2 home guard twins, and a dahlia in a pear tree. This one's a bit of a cheat. On the 7th day of Christmas, the WSL gave to me 7 Ramirez, 6. Oh, shit, I've forgotten already. That's gone well. 7 Ramirez, 6 Hayley Vassars, 5 Beijings. 4 Rico Weckes, 3 Lizzie Turlands, 2 home guard twins, and a dahlia in a pear tree. This one's a bit dodgy as well. On the 8th day of Christmas, the WSL gave to me 8 Rantillas, 7 Ramirez, 6 Hayley Vassars, 5 Beijings. Am I pronouncing it right, by the way?
Buyings.
Beijings.
But I didn't want to interrupt your flow.
4 Rico Weckes, 3 Lizzie Turlands, 2 home guard twins, and a dahlia in a pear tree. Controversial for Chelsea fans now. On the 9th day of Christmas, the WSL gave to me the best number 9 in the world, 9 Bunny Shaws, 8 Rantillas, 7 Ramirez, 6 Hayley Vassars, 5 Beijings, 4 Rico Weckes, 3 Lizzie Turlands, 2 home guard twins, and a dahlia in a pear tree. On the 10th day of Christmas, the WSL gave to me 10 Annabelle Blanchards, 9 Bunny Shaws, 8 Rantillas, 7 Ramirez, 6 Hayley Vassars, 5 Beijings, 4 Rico Weckes, 3 Lizzie Turlands, 2 home guard twins, and a dahlia in a pear tree. See, 2 more teams.
I love it.
On the 11th day of Christmas, the WSL gave to me, it's not technically a number, but close enough, 11 Frank Kirby's, 10 Katie Stengels, 9 Bunny Shaws, 8 Rantillas, 7 Ramirez, 6 Hayley Vassars, 5 Beijings. I'm getting a look now. 4 Rico Weckes, 3 Lizzie Turlands, 2 home guard twins, and a dahlia in a pear tree. And don't worry, Arsenal fans, you're already winding up your Twitter stuff, but you haven't forgotten them. So finish them off fast as possible.
Yes, let's do this.
Feel free to join in.
Okay.
On the 12th day of Christmas, the WSL gave to me 12 Marianas, 11 Frank Kirby's, 10 Katie Stengels, 9 Bunny Shaws, 8 Rantillas, 7 Ramirez, 6 Hayley Vassars, 5 Beijings. There you go. 4 Rico Weckes, 3
Lizzie Turlands,
2 home
guard
guard
twins.
twins, and a dahlia
in a pear tree.
There you go.
Oh, you went for the high notes.
I went
Well
falsetto to finish.
Well
There you go.
I absolutely love that. That was fantastic. We'll have to get like a chorus, a choir of everyone coming together, and definitely clipping up.
I made that deliberately long, so Sam can't cut that because it was about 3 minutes long. About 6 minutes long. They'll just have to cut the last little bit.
We can screen record. That's fine.
leave out the best number. Sorry, Chelsea fans. The best number 9 in the world, 9 Bunny Shaws. Like, just,
I loved it, and you're getting a round of applause from Chris as well.
I was going to do What's This from Nightmare Before Christmas as well, but that's way too long.
What's this?
I was trying to rewrite that, but I couldn't rewrite that.
Bunny Shaws goes everywhere. What's this? No, that's. I mean, we can totally have a think about it and release that over Christmas. We can totally do that.
Yeah, I might record. I'll have to record just the audio version of that.
Yeah. Now, hang on. Is this the right one? Is it? I think it might be the other one. Whoops.
What might be the other one? What have you done?
The socials.
No, it was the right socials.
I've got an updated one. Monday, Wednesday. No.
As they say on Twitter, keep posting to it. Keep posting.
Yeah, I mean, is this one? Hey, look, we won a content award. No, so we'll keep it on this one because it's on this one. Now, next week, of course, we won't be here because it's Christmas Day, I believe. Yes,
It is Christmas Day.
And as much as we love you all, we do realise people do have lives, and they'll probably
So do
want to
we.
spend it in a food coma. So we are granting everyone's wishes. So we're not here next week with it being Christmas, but we do have some stuff planned to get out, so there will still be content. So please make sure you are following us on the following so you don't miss anything. So on Twitter or X, we are at Absolute Ball Pod. YouTube, we are at Absolute Football Podcast. Twitch, Absolute Football Podcast as well. TikTok, Absolute Football Pod. Instagram and Threads, Absolute Football Podcast with an _. Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. And we are on Blue Sky as well, which I keep forgetting to use. You can find us at Absolute Football Podcast as well. So please do that. And just a reminder, even though it does say Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, the Premier League show has moved to, or has been, on a Tuesday. So keep an eye out for updates on that. Of course, we are here on a Wednesday. And Thursday is Lower League as well. And I will say tomorrow, even if you don't usually watch the Lower League, Shah has some very Christmassy things planned, including a Christmas quiz as well. If you're not busy tomorrow and you want some more football chaos, come and join in.
You will get it with the Rowdy Rabble.
Yeah, the Rowdy Rabble on the Lower League show, Thursday at 8:30. Paul, thank you so much.
Thank you.
As usual. Where can people find you if they would like you to, please? As
usual. Once again, I can never get this right with hands. Right, there we go. At Paul W Radio, and you add the B Sky social bit for Blue Sky as well.
Perfect. And this evening I was frankincense, but you can usually find me at T Writes, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, wherever you can find me, I am there. Pretty much that handle there. If you do want to find out more things Villa as well, Thursday nights we're live 8 o'clock. We are called Part of the Pride Pod, and that's on YouTube too. But yeah, we would like to wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas. Be safe, be happy, full of love, full of food and warmth. And yeah, just thank you so much for everyone who watches, listens, and gets involved. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you very much. Have a lovely Christmas, and we will see you very, very soon. So good evening and goodbye. Thank you very much.